Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another lovely edition of the Cups coverage of House of Villains. That is the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your reality TV first. My name is Jack. I am the resident game designer of the panel, and I am the number one Tom x Tom shipper in the world. I do coin the ship name Sandy Warts in order to refer to them. So if you are going to use that, there is like a slight monetization fee. It's totally fine. It's just like $1,000 per use. So just make sure to Venmo me. It's at Sandy Warts on Venmo. But unfortunately, Lana caught the House of Virgins villains of whatever Ashley got. So unfortunately, she isn't here today. I am, though, to discuss this very lovely episode of House of Villains where, Lord have mercy, we need to just bring more people into this house because it only gets crazier. But before I go ahead and give you everything you need to know about this episode, I do have a couple things to talk through. So first, if you're here, you must love reality TV content. If you're a fan of, along with House of Villains, maybe Survivor Australia or Survivor 50. Maybe you're a big fan of Big Brother waiting for it to come back, or you want to catch up on Fear Factor House of Fear, or you just want to watch more one-off shows that are interesting like The Snake. You can always subscribe to us here at The Cup TV. That really does mean the world to us. We're looking for around 1,000 subscribers so we can do more amazing things for y'all. Looking for that by the end of the year, so please feel free to follow us below. In the description, you can also find a link tree, which will bring you to our Cup main channel, which has lovely drag content. Literally every single drag franchise across the world at this point. I don't know how they do it. And some Eurovision Song Contest content. You can feel free to follow down there. You'll also find our audio link for Spotify and similar podcast channels if you'd rather listen to us on the go. I know that I am driving a lot for work, so I currently am putting on some of our Survivor Australia coverage while I am not currently on the podcast. I recommend you do the same, as it is lovely to listen to. And why don't you also get your cup merch? That is at lanagcreations.etsy.com or in that lovely QR code right in the right in the corner over there. Once again, that is lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link is also in our link tree and the description. Give the shop a favorite. Tell Lana that you bought the mug and do whatever you can because these things are so versatile. You literally cannot use it wrong. You can, but you really shouldn't be. These are perfect for your entire life. And if you enjoy my complete mess of a life and you want to maybe see the 1 or 2 times I post on Instagram throughout the year, you can follow me at Jack the Flop at basically all platforms except for Twitter, which is Jack Thy Flop because someone beat me to the punch. Or you can follow the Cup at the Cup Pod at basically everywhere you get your social media. But with that said, let's go ahead and hop into this episode. So, just as a recap from last time, we are entering cycle number 4 of this game. We have Kate, for the first time this season, being a supervillain twice, and specifically twice in a row. Never scorn a woman who can care and will ruin your life. She got nearly put on the hit list after a letter was circulated around the house, first found by Tyson, then went to Tom, and then was left for Kate to find by accident. Kate picked it up, was going to be on the hit list until she won, and as such, knowing what happened, she put up Tyson and Tom. And that is where our last episode ended us. We were left on a cliffhanger of who would be number 3 because they, more than likely, would end up as a pawn against Tyson or Tom if they ended up needing to, lose the redemption challenge. And as we begin this episode, we find out that person is Christine. Christine has taken the third seat. Kate is very much regretful of this. Like, hey, I really only did this because I had to. I had no other choice. And of course, Christine is barely there. So she's like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. All good. She can't form a coherent sentence in response, but she's okay with it. And basically, this game is now boiled into a very interesting side versus side match. We begin to see those sides very much hard form here as we have conversations of Tyson and Tom going off and going, hey, so one of us needs to get off the hit list. So let's plan for that scenario, because if it doesn't, then everything is tits up anyway. If that happens, we have us and Tiffany being 2 votes. There are going to be 4 votes in total. So we either need to make sure that we have a 3rd vote or that Kate is on our side. And Tyson and Tom look specifically at Paul to be that 3rd. And at the same time, Kate is realizing the same things, is hoping that Christine can get off the hit list, so it's purely just Tyson and Tom and it's nice and easy. But if not, she needs to ensure that Drita and Paul are both voting for whoever's on the block between Tyson and Tom, so she can probably break the tie to send home Tyson or Tom. However, Kate isn't like 100% set on sending home Tyson and Tom. She put up Christine because she's okay seeing her go home. So if worse comes to worse and Kate's given the power, Christine isn't a horrible option to send home. She didn't put up Tiffany because she likes her too much, but Christine is like, we can deal with that problem down the line. Paul very much recognizes his power here of going, so if Tyson or Tom win, which, I mean, against Christine, unfortunately, is probably gonna happen, I have a lot of power because I am essentially the deciding vote. Either I vote with Tyson and Tom and Tiffany, and it's a 3-1, and Kate doesn't make a decision, and we just send Christine out the door. Or I work with Kate and Drita and Christine and send one of Tyson and Tom out the door. Paul's in this really interesting kind of decision point where he's in full control, with the only note being, okay, I know this game ends in a final 3. Can I win if I go with one side or the other? And that's essentially his thought process. And, you know, as he's just talking out the options with Christine and Tiffany, he's like, yeah, so if we were to like try and save Christine, it could be me, Drita, Tiffany. And of course, because Paul implied that maybe Tiffany would vote for Christine, Tiffany goes in on Paul saying, why do you think you have my vote automatically? I'm undecided. I don't know what I'm doing. How dare you do that? And Paul realizes the stupidity of this and kind of is like, yeah, you know what? I am being cumbersome. You're right. Just very much like the full, hey, you know what? You're right. I messed up. You are wrong, by the way. I messed up. I'm just going to accept this and keep it moving because I don't have the energy to argue with this all day. With those kind of arguments of, hey, one side, Paul's the middle of deciding which way he wants to go, we head into the next day here. And once again, Joel's voice is not heard over the intercom. Instead, Candy Muse's voice from last season is heard, inviting everyone to come down and compete in a challenge in some random backlot in some studio somewhere. Before the season happened, we had known of a Bravo clip that was shown at, I think, BravoCon 2025. I'm going to be honest, I'm not in the Bravo world. I don't know about most of this stuff. But we were waiting to see Tom compete in a challenge where Kate is implied to like say, hey, so do you think Tom is wet right now? And this is that challenge, which good. We have that hanging thread like finally gone. It's only been 8 of 10 episodes. Now, on the way over there, the groups are isolated into different cars. We have Tyson, Tom, Tiffany, and I think Kate or Drita, I'm not sure, in one car. And then we have Paul, Christine, and then the other of Kate and Drita in the other. And Paul just kind of like goes to Christine and says, hey, just so you're aware, if you can sabotage Tyson during this challenge, do it. Like, Paul 100% wants Tyson out of the game because Tyson can basically win out at this point. Like, everyone knows Tyson is the person to beat strategically and physically. Like, it's nearly impossible to do so. So any chance that's possible to take Tyson out needs to be taken at this point. We are running out of time. And Christine basically goes, yeah, you know what, that's fair. I want to say Drita's in the car as well and goes, you need to make sure that Tyson loses this. Like, if it's possible, make sure he loses. So I believe Paul is more on the side of working with Kate, Christine, Drita at this point. But then again, we never fully know with Paul. So from here, we get to this lovely studio backlot with like some construction equipment around, kind of built, funnily enough, like a Big Brother, like basement competition. And Candy Muse is there hosting this competition because, I mean, I personally tried to look into the dates of like when this show was filmed. It genuinely might have been while the 1% Club was filming. So I could have been the reason why he basically just disappears. There's also like 3 other sitcoms that Joel McHale's working on. So he could be doing that one day, coming back here, doing that another day. We don't know. But simply put, Candy is here to host this next challenge. And weirdly enough, Candy's like, hey, you're going to compete in this challenge in pairs. But I don't really feel like pairing you up with people inside the house. So we're basically going to do a loved ones visit. And we have a loved one for each of the 3 villains on the hit list come into the game in order to help them out in this competition. First, we have Tom Schwartz for Tom Sandoval. Schwartz is another Vanderpump Rules Valley character who opened multiple businesses with Tom, basically all of which have gone under. But they've been consistent business partners throughout the entire time that Vanderpump Rules was going on. We also have Tyson getting back with Gervais, which that is a deep cut for this type of show. Gervais, just for anyone who isn't aware, is from the first season of Survivor Borneo and then came back for Blood versus Water, where he competed with Tyson. Both of them made it to the final, and that is where Tyson won. Gervais ended up with 0 votes on that season. And then we also have Christine's friend, Davina, who is another member of the Selling Sunset cast and is also a realtor. So all 3 of them will be playing with their associated villain in essentially a pipe maze competition. If you've ever seen those old kind of arcade games where you have to navigate a stick on a rope, and anytime it hits the rope, it lights up. Basically that. Anytime it lights up, the villain gets sprayed with water, and they must go back to the start. First villain and partner pair to make it to the end takes their villain off the hit list. Nice and simple. This very quickly becomes a 2-horse race. Tom and Tom are just not doing well. They cannot get past like the first kind of like turn of this track. Tom is just consistently getting sprayed. We have multiple jokes about Tom and Tom making each other wet, which, just to be clear, the funniest thing you can do to a straight man who has a very fragile ego is make gay jokes. And it is very funny every single time. And this is coming from a gay man, because God, is it funny to weaponize homophobia against them. But yeah, no, Tom and Tom are basically out of this from the start. Tyson, Gervais, and Christine and Davina get a decent portion of the way through. Tyson and Gervais are very much in the lead to start this off, with Christine and Davina but a little behind. Right about at the midway of the course, Tyson and Gervais end up hitting it and have to go all the way back to the start. But so do Christine and Davina shortly after, and at that point, Tyson and Gervais have this fully worked out. It very much does not become a competition, and against every single person's wishes in the house, Tyson and Gervais win this redemption challenge, meaning that Tyson is now, in fact, off the hit list. And basically everyone is pissed off, because everyone half expected this to happen, but also it's like, great, okay, so we take out one of Tom's minions or someone who isn't really doing much for the house, but if she goes, Tyson and Tom and Tiffany basically have control. Lovely. After the competition ends and everyone wallows for a little bit, Candy's like, yeah, we're going to party later on tonight. Feel free to go back to the house and get ready, and I'll be over soon to party with you. And this is where we find out that she isn't she's not going herself. No, she's bringing the partners of everybody else who probably would have been competing in them with this competition. So along with Gervais and Davina and Tom Schwartz, we have partners for the other four, being Tiffany and Chance. Chance is a longtime VH1, how do I put this? VH1 reality star. He's had his own number of shows. He was originally the runner-up on I Love New York 1. He went on to do I Love Money. He has his own dating show with his brother. So, long line of legacy, just like Tiffany. For Paul, we have his number 1 from Big Brother 18, and also from The Challenge and Destination X and Los 50. Like, from everywhere at this point. We have Josh. We have Josh coming into the house. The meatball. Everyone kind of knows him. Honestly, surprised that he hasn't made his own appearance on the show at this point. Just probably timing. We have Drita's daughter, Alia, coming in, which honestly is really sweet. Drita genuinely gets emotional. She just needed to see her daughter, even though it's been 11 days at this point. 11, 13 days. She just needed to see someone from home. And for Kate, we have Chef Ben, the chef on the ship that Kate worked in on Below Deck. And also a host of a challenge during season 1 of House of Villains. Because, of course. Now, during this time, we get strategy and kind of lay of lands from various different sides. We have Paul and Josh talking about the game, and Josh attempting to convince Paul to basically take out the women and instead go with Tyson and Tom and Tiffany. We have Christine talking with Davina and basically going, yeah, the reason I'm around is because I don't know what I'm doing and people think I'm stupid, which is a perfectly valid reason. We have Drita and Aaliyah just talking about what this kind of show means to Drita and like how long it's been. And we're very much getting like a winning kind of edit that we got for the other two winners of this show. For Drita here, just kind of like that emotional support. And we also get a lot of Chance, who, just like Tiffany, is a lot and is very outspoken and is not afraid to tell someone like, hey, look me in the eye when you're talking to me. This is why you're failing, Tiffany. You just need to look me in the eye. Like, very opinionated, very much center of attention, but in a way that's really fun. And he consistently tries to jump in on conversations and have all the strategy. Off to the side, we also have Tom and Candy talking through the options, and Candy's basically giving Tom a pep talk of like, hey, you really just need to take control, like push. This is a hard game. Just kind of like do what you can. And as the night goes on, we're slowly getting people more and more drunk, and as such, we're having more and more honest conversations. With Kate ever so slightly goading Tiffany, I mean, like, hey, I know how much you love Tom. Why don't you quit for him? If he's going to go, you can just, like, sacrifice yourself instead. That'd be a really nice thing for you to do. And Tiffany's kind of receptive until she realizes what's going on. Is like, Kate, what? No, get out of here. Not today. And Tiffany yells at Kate in front of everyone, and everyone's like, really? Like, are we going to do this right now? And, of course, Candy, in her infinite wisdom, is like, oh, I know what I can do to stir up drama. Everybody, say who you like the least. Say who you trust the least. And Kate is like, I know what I'm going to do. Hey, I trust Tom the least. Leading to an argument between Kate and Tom about the letter again in front of everyone. I love this show. I love this show so much because Tom very much cannot put up a good argument for like why things were put away. He's like, you threw the letter over hoping someone would just grab it. Okay, yeah. And then Tyson put it under the couch so no one would find it. And it just kind of goes back and forth, and everyone's like, in front of all of us? Really, Tom? God. And the night begins to very slowly wind down. We have kind of everyone realizing where this vote might go. We have Tom, Tyson, and Tiffany beginning to pitch why Paul should go with them. They're just a stronger power trio. Paul would have more options versus Christine and Dita, who he might not be able to beat. And Paul is making all of these lovely pitches of like, hey, look, it would mean a lot to me. I really want to be here. You know, if you do this, you'll be a hero. You'll be the good guy. Paul was on board until you mentioned being a hero in House of Villains. Tom cannot find a way to not shoot himself in the foot. It is genuinely impressive. But genuinely looking at the board here, if Paul decides to go with Kate, Christine, and Drita, I think he has a really hard time winning because of week 2. I think everyone is really annoyed at him for how that went down versus Drita, who has basically been really friendly with everyone, and versus Kate, who has burned some people, yeah, but has had a lot of really good relationships. And Christine, who even as she's nominated by Kate, is annoyed, but not so annoyed that she might not vote for her. So, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think Paul can win going with Kate, Christine, and Drita. But if Paul goes with Tiffany, Tyson, and Tom, I think he burns every single one of Kate, Christine, and Drita's votes. And already, Ashley and Plain Jane were not really looking at him so favorably. Jackie isn't looking at him so favorably. Unfortunately, I don't know if Paul can win this season. I think right now Paul is king making and is basically deciding which kind of side of Tiffany, Tyson, and Tom or Kate, Christine, and Drita will have the power going into this end game. I don't know if he can win, and that makes me really sad because I love Paul and I want to see him do well, but I don't really see a path. I can't really see a path for Tom. I think he's just pissed too many people off. I think Tyson up against Paul might be able to win. With this format being a final 3, I think if it's Tyson, Tom, and Paul, Tyson might be able to win. I think if Tiffany is up there with any of Tyson, Paul, or Tom, Tiffany probably wins just because she hasn't pissed as many people off. And then Kate, Christine, Drita probably wins over all of them. So it's purely a race of who can give the best pitch. And I mean, I don't really know what Paul's best option is here. I think he's just kind of in a losing battle, but he's going to do whatever he can strategically. But from here, we get a couple other conversations, a couple other side bits. We get a lovely bit of Tom having a morning routine, and it's a full American Psycho bit, and whoever's writing for the show is great. The one complaint I do generally have for the show, it's become a lot more obvious with this episode. We don't need to be using generative AI for all the images. It's a personal soapbox. Please just hire a graphic editor. Like, you used it fine in season 1. You don't need to do it now, but whatever, cost of doing business. I'm not in control. Ethical stuff. We head down to the lair. Everyone's pretty pumped. Joel's back and is giving everyone nice little high fives. We have final pitches from Tom and Christine. Christine has this whole rehearsed pitch that sounds like a Dr. Seuss book, and it's very just camp. Like, you know what? Good for her for finally having a strategic bone, even though that bone is basically, I don't have strategy. You can vote me out at any point. And Tom just simply pitches like, hey, I really want to stay here. I really want to keep playing this game. This has been my favorite experience. Please let me stay. And we go to vote. And unsurprisingly, Tiffany votes for Christine. Tyson votes for Christine. Drita votes for Tom. And Paul votes for Tom, meaning for the first time in House of Villains history, we have a tie, and the supervillain will be breaking that tie. Kate has the power to send Christine out, who is probably a bigger endgame threat than Tom. But if she doesn't send Tom out, that might send the wrong message, and also Tyson and Tom can regain control and probably are going to put her up anyway. So what is what is Kate's best move? What is her decision? Yeah, we don't know yet because we get cliffhangered. We don't even get next week's promo. We are near the end of this season. We don't have much left in the tank. My honest guess is that Tom is going home here. It just makes more sense. But at the same time, Kate nominated Christine as a shock. It wouldn't shock me if she decides, fuck it, I'll take Christine out. But that just means we have to wait till next week for the semi-final episode of the show. It has been a lovely time watching this season, and if you've been here for 30 minutes, I hope you've had a lovely time. If you've enjoyed me, my name is Jack once again. You can feel free to follow me on all of the social media platforms where you look up Jack the Flop. It'll basically be on there, except for Twitter, where it's Jack Thy Flop. Along with the Cup Pod, it'll be basically on every single social media you can imagine. As well, please feel free to give this video a subscribe to this channel, give this video a like. If you're listening to us on an audio podcast, which you can find in the description below, you can give us a like or a favorite or follow us on there, whatever you want to do. And on your way out, go ahead and scan that QR code or head to lonagecreations.etsy.com to buy your cup mug. But on that note, I will be getting out of here. I have to go get the Ashley cough out of my throat because God has my throat been dry. Allergies are the real villain of this show. And go watch our Survivor Australia coverage. It has been a lovely time recapping this very excellent season. But on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day and cheers.